Hello everybody, my name is Noah and welcome to my review of AEW Full Gear. Oh boy, what a show. I'm gonna have my most to say about the main event, but overall, I think that's what's in everybody's mind right now, was the main event. But overall, it was a very strong show. I think it was the show they needed. I considered this an A show because this is their first show since they started getting weekly television, and I think it delivered on that. But oh boy, that main event. We'll get to that though. There's some other good stuff too. So let's see what happened. Alright, so they shortened the buy-in this year, this event. Now it's only half an hour and there's one match instead of two. And that one match was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Did you know Britt Baker's a dentist? Bet you didn't. Versus Bea Priestley. I think it's B, actually. Bea Priestley. Before the match, they had a video package where Baker did like a kind of shoot type thing where she's like, oh, well, Priestley really hurt me with the concussion. And like your Dakota conduct is you're supposed to make sure your opponent's okay, and she didn't even call me and all that. And it was fine, but it was also more like, oh, it came off as kind of like, let's use insider terms to get a reaction. Ooh, it was kind of lame. I'm being honest, it was kind of lame. Before the fucking match, Taz was on television. It's like, oh, in wrestling, you don't really want to try to hurt your opponent. It's like, come on, man. Like, we get it. Wrestling's fake. You don't have to fucking slap us in the face with it. We get it. But the match was fine. Better than I thought it was going to be. I haven't really, to be honest, been impressed with either of them. Because Priestley is reckless. And so I guess Baker's comments did have some merit. Even though it was a work shoot. And Baker just seems unenthusiastic in the ring. I thought they did well, though. Baker, to my surprise, made Priestley tap to her lockjaw submission type thing. It's kind of silly, but then again, so is Pete Dunne's finger breaking submission, so fair enough. They got 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Decent match, I'd say. A strong match needed for this women's division that they're still definitely building up. After the match, though, is where it gets interesting, because Awesome Kong, who came out dressed like something out of Final Fantasy, came down with Brandy dressed like a fucking vampire. And then Kong attacked Priestley, who was still in the ring, and then cut off a lock of her hair and kept it, and they left. So why Kong attacked another heel? I don't know. Why does she look like she's out of Final Fantasy? I don't know. Why is Brandy a vampire now? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Now getting to the main card, we started with Santana and Ortiz, formerly LAX. They are now going under the team name Proud and Powerful, which is pretty sweet, versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. You can always rely on a good tag match, especially between two good teams, to start a show off right, and that's exactly what this did. 21 minutes, right on the dot, and to my surprise, Santana and Ortiz won clean. They hit their finish in one clean. The theme for the match is that Nick had a knee injury after kneeing the ring post and couldn't perform most of the moves he was normally able to perform, and that cost them in the end and allowed Santana and Ortiz to win. They continued the fight, the assault after the match, and Guevara came out and was vlogging it. But then the Rock and Roll Express, who were at ringside, made the save, and Ricky Morton did a Canadian Destroyer and a suicide dive. Dude's like 70. That's be interesting. So the Rock and Roll gonna wrestle in AEW? I guess so. That'd be interesting. Cool. Do Santana and Ortiz get a tag title match now? You'd think so. Awesome. Up next, Adam Page versus Pac. I actually really like this match. 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I feel like this is a good spot for Page, and this is arguably in a wrestling card the hardest spot on the card. The second match in is usually the hardest spot on the card, and the crowd was a little tired after the opening match, but they really pulled him back in, and they had a tremendous match, and again, surprisingly, another clean finish. Page won clean with the Deadeye. And yeah, Pac is handed his first pinfall loss in AEW, and will clean at least. And yeah, good for Page, man. Good for Page. I think this is a good win for him. I don't know if I want to see him back in the world title scene right now. Are they going to do a mid-card title? If they do, I feel like that'd be really good for him. I think that'd be a really good spot for Page if they do a mid-card title. Make him the first mid-card champion. You make a television title, what the fuck you could do? Give him that. I think that's a good idea. But great match between the two. Up next, Shawn Spears versus Joey Janela. 11 minutes and 45 seconds on this one. Spears is just kind of boring, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on him too much, but he's just... He plays with Blanchard really well. Tully's a great heel manager, but he's just kind of boring. Joey Janela's not as shit as everyone thinks he is. In fact, he was carrying this match, I think. I think he did a good job. It was a dirty finish because Spears took out the turnbuckle and distracted Hebner, and then with Blanchard's help, they did an elevated spike piledriver, combined spike piledriver to Janela on the outside, and rolled him back in the ring and hit him with... It used to be called a tiebreaker, I think. I don't remember what he calls it now. And Spears wins. Not surprising. This is the win he needed. Despite the fact that he's kind of a boring wrestler, I still think he's a good heel, and I still think he should have beaten Cody at the last event. And it was the right move to make him win here. Meanwhile, things keep getting worse for Joey Janela, because then they cut to Kip Sabian backstage, who's a heel now and suddenly has a personality. And he is now being managed by Penelope Ford, who was Joey's old manager, who broke up with him with no explanation to my knowledge. So, okay. Bad day for Joey. Sorry, Joey. Up next, three-way tag for the AEW Tag Team Championship. SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky defending against the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Fenix, and Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Kwan. This match, I'm surprised to see it was only 13 minutes, because everybody really got their shit in. This was also... focusing around, what was the focus? The Lucha Brothers dominated a good portion of it. Private Party kept getting fucked about and all that. But they ended up taking the pin to SoCal Uncensored. SCU got the pin. I believe it was Kazarian on... Was it Kazarian on Kwan? Yeah, let me see if they show it here. It was... Yeah, okay. It was... Yeah, I think it might have been Kazarian on Kwan. Kwan missed a shooting star press. No, hit a shooting star press for near fall. They tried to do their double team finish and they missed. And then Kazarian, I'm pretty sure, got the pin on Kwan. Afterwards, the Lucha Brothers, who are heels, but they play like crowds that are not, but they're also heels. I don't fucking know. They attack them, and the lights go out, and then a second Pentagon Trace, appears in the ring. Surprise! Is it Chris Jericho this time? Nope. It is Christopher Daniels. He's back, and he's fine from his worked piledriver injury. And it looks like this SCU versus Lucha Brothers feud will continue. Especially since Lucha Brothers didn't get pinned, I imagine they'll have a rematch at the next pay-per-view. And hopefully Lucha Brothers win tag titles, to be honest. I like it's SCU, but I feel like the Lucha Brothers are a better fit for these belts, per the moment. Up next, we get into the main card, the main card. Riho versus Emi Sakura for the AEW Women's Championship, 13 minutes and 12 seconds. I liked it. I feel a lot of people were mixed on this match, but I liked it. I really did like it. They have good chemistry because obviously they've wrestled apparently like 200 something fucking times, and it really looked like Sakura was gonna win at one point. They played the whole mentor and protege thing. Well, Sakura was crying before the fucking match started. Riho, and there's the end of the match was crazy. There's all these fucking counters, and Riho ended up winning with a roll up. However, there was a ref botch. So what the ref did was he counted one, and then he jumped to the other side of them and then counted 1, 2. But that's a 3 count. I'm sure if I use the excuse of, he started his count over, but like, that's bullshit. It's a 3 count. How can he just start his count over? So technically, there was a 3 count for Sakura, and the crowd noticed, which is not good. If the crowd had missed it, it would have been fine, but the crowd noticed. They noticed. So, yeah, that's a big yikes. It's a big yikes, but yeah, they noticed. So, but regardless, I think it was a good match. They should respect after Riho keeps the title for now. I think she'll probably get destroyed by Awesome Kong. I imagine that's where this is going. She's just going to get mauled by Awesome Kong. But until that happens, good idea to keep Riho with the belt. Up next, Chris Jericho, accompanied by Jake Hager, versus Cody, accompanied by MJF. So this match is for the AEW World Championship. It was not the main event. We'll talk about the main event in a second. The stipulation was if Cody would lose, he would never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. We'll see if that holds up. And also, there were 3 judges at ringside: Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and the Great Muta. Because if this match went to an hour, it expanded, went for the whole hour time limit, it would go to judges' scorecards. They didn't end up using that, but I imagine they wanted to establish it because it's something they'll use in the future. So, fair enough. Probably Omega will end up going an hour with somebody, if I to wager a guess. If it's gonna be anybody, I think it'd be fucking Kenny. But Cody had control early on until he tried to dive to the outside and landed face first on the fucking grate, and like steel grate, and bashed his head open. Jericho controlled from that point on, and then Hager got caught punching Cody at one point. He got ejected by the ref. Hager took out MJF as well. There was good back and forth. I think, let's see, Cody, you know what? I sent text to my sister because, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who've been on this channel for a while, my sister used to do the prediction videos with me. She's not doing them now because she's not here. She's in a different state. She went to college. So, she's in Oregon right now. She'll be back next month, though, because her term ends. Okay, so here's what happened. After Hager took out MJF, the ref was distracted, so Jericho hit Cody with the belt, which resulted in a 2 count. Cody ended up countering the Judas Effect in a Crossroads. Jericho kicked out at 2. Cody hit the Bionic Elbow. Jericho kicked out at 2. Jericho caught the Disaster Kick into a Codebreaker. Cody kicked out at 2. Jericho whipped Cody with a weight belt, which for some reason went right in front of ref, so I guess it's not illegal. Fucking weird. And then Jericho ended up locking in the Lion Tamer, and Cody was not passed out, but he wasn't really defending, and MJF threw in the towel. So technically Jericho wins by submission because MJF threw in the towel. Or you call it stoppage. They're listed as submission here, but it's either or. This match clocked in at 29 minutes and 35 seconds. Jericho retains and celebrated with the inner circle on top of the ramp. Cody Rhodes can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship again. We'll see if that fucking holds up. And after the match, MJF was on his knees apologizing to Cody. Cody seemed to accept his apology, and then MJF hits him in the balls, reestablishing himself as the heel we all knew he was deep down inside. And now we get the MJF-Cody feud, which I think will be great, personally. As MJF was walking up the stage too, he got hit with a beer. A fan threw a beer at him, and I don't think it was a work, because you could see security immediately fucking get the guy out. But that's good heel heat right there, and I'm excited to see where this feud goes. So, who does Jericho feud with next, by the way? Well, up next, maybe just the winner of this one. The main event, an unsanctioned lights out match. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. It was weird. Before the match, Justin Roberts was like, when the lights go out, this match will now be unsanctioned. But the lights never went out. They just, like, did Bray Wyatt's red lighting in the middle of the ring, and that was it. So I don't know. Maybe the match was sanctioned then. This match was fucking nuts. Once again, I gave my sister pretty much complete play-by-play of this match. Let me read my notes to you from this match. So they brawled for a little bit. Moxley ended up grabbing a barbed wire baseball bat, whacked Kenny with it a bunch of times. Kenny ended up hitting a pile driver on the trash can. Kenny grabbed a barbed wire broom and whacked Moxley over the back of the head and on the back multiple times. Moxley was bleeding like fuck from the back of the head wound as well. Kenny ended up pulling out a board full with mouse traps, and then Moxley countered and threw Kenny onto said board. Moxley pulled out some giant gold anchor chains. Don't know where the fuck he got those. Slammed Kenny on the chains, got a 2 count. Moxley neckbreaker Kenny on chains, got a 1 count because Kenny got Superman powers. All of a sudden, he used a red light to channel into his Bray Wyatt abilities. Moxley got a screwdriver. He missed trying to hit Omega with it and punctured the top turnbuckle. And then Omega tried to counter him, but Max Moxley backdropped him onto the chains. Omega then got control with the chains and like Hangman choked Moxley over the top rope. At this point, the crowd is like, fuck no. And I'll get to that in a second, but the crowd was pretty much like, fuck no at this point. Omega dived over the top onto Moxley through a table. Omega got a glass shard, which I guess is from the table Moxley put in for a couple weeks ago, and cut Moxley's hand with it, and he poured out a whole bag of glass and spine busted him onto it for a 2 count. Kenny even dragged Moxley through the glass into his sharpshooter. Moxley had to crawl through the glass to get to the rope, which is not supposed to break the count because it's unsanctioned, but he broke anyway, so who cares? Omega force-fed Moxley... force-fed Moxley some glass. Moxley hit a back body drop to Omega on the glass. Kenny no-sold it and hit the V-trigger twice. We're still going. Moxley, so what happened? Omega got the screwdriver, followed Moxley up the ramp, stabbed it into Moxley's head. I think I remember the rest of it. And then stabbed in Moxley's head, and then he called out Paige and the Bucks to bring something out. They're like, dude, Kenny, what the fuck? And he's like, bring it out. So they're like, okay. They bring out like this fucking trampoline with barbed wire on it. Moxley suplexes Omega through it. Then Omega V-triggers him for this panel thing. They go back in the ring. Moxley hits the Death Rider into some fucking glass in the ring. Kenny kicks out. Moxley cuts open the ring and fucking takes out the wood. And they go back and forth. Omega hits a DDT on the wood. Moxley kicks out. Omega goes for a Phoenix Splash on the wood. Misses. Kicks out at 2. Moxley hits the Death Rider or Paradigm Shift, whatever the fuck it's called, on the wood. And Moxley wins. Jesus fucking Christ. I have never seen anything like this in my life. It was some full-on CZW bullshit on a grand scale. And I don't know how to feel about it other than Jesus Christ. Right winner, Moxley wins. Omega, again, out of everyone's probably been the most unselfish member of the Elite in terms of doing the right thing and not going over when he should have. Or not going over when he shouldn't have. Because the Young Bucks and Cody have both been guilty of that so far. The only thing selfish maybe Kenny is guilty of is making his best friend Riho women's champion. But to be fair, everyone likes Riho. Kenny is booking the women's division for anyone who doesn't know. So the big question is did they go too far? For the crowd, it seemed like yes, because the crowd was like silent for a good portion of it. They were like shocked silent because it was fucking too much for them, bro. It was too much for them. You gotta realize, like, until AEW, since like 2002, the only like nationally televised wrestling on a grand scale, other than TNA when they had Spike TV, has been the WWE. And WWE got rid of blood and violence and stuff like this like 10 years ago. So most fans, whether they even know it or not, have been desensitized to this type of shit. Because, especially if they've only watched mainstream wrestling, because the WWE got rid of this shit like 10 years ago. So, was it too far? I don't know. It seemed like it was for the crowd at times. They got born back into it near the end, but it seemed like they just wanted it to be over. This went 38 minutes and 45 seconds, by the way. So was it too far? I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to see it again, though. But dear God, Moxley won, so good. Moxley versus Jericho next? Maybe. I think that seems like the next logical step. Good God, what does this do to Kenny's character, too? Can Kenny just go back to his own old character now? Because this definitely was out of his realm. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It was fucking crazy. Well, that's the only way I can put it to you, is it was fucking crazy. This whole event was fucking crazy. But overall, I think it was worthy of being called an A show, which it needed to be, in my opinion. And yeah, good show. So, what's listed as next for AEW is, let's see, Chris Jericho's Rock and Rager at Sea is something that he did in 2018. I guess he's doing a second cruise in 2020. He partnered with Ring of Honor in 2018, and apparently he's going to obviously will partner with All Elite Wrestling in January of next year. So this is listed as AEW's next event, according to Wikipedia. Chris Jericho's Rock and Rager at Sea second wave occurs from January 20th to January 24th. So I don't know if that qualifies as an official AEW pay-per-view. I don't know if it's going to be televised. I don't know what they're going to do with it. That's what they list on Wikipedia as the next AEW pay-per-view. I highly doubt that's going to stand true. But as of right now, we don't really know. But good show. I imagine their next pay-per-view may be a B show. Wouldn't surprise me. Can they afford to have B shows right now? I don't know. But be interesting to see where things go from here. I feel like we have a lot of unanswered questions. This may be a criticism. Like, where the fuck does I guess just regarding the world title, where the hell does Jericho go from here? What the hell do they do with Omega now? Like, who do they feed to? Do they just feed Ryoho to Awesome Kong right away, or do they wait a little bit? What happens to Adam Page now? What happens to Pac now since he lost? Do Pride and Powerful get a title match, or are you doing Lucha Brothers versus SoCal Uncensored still? I don't know. Why did Awesome Kong attack a heel? Why not feed Britt Baker to Awesome Kong? We have a lot of questions, but maybe we'll get answers to them in the future. So that is going to do it for my predictions for AEW Full Gear. As far as my next predictions, as far as wrestling goes on here, I imagine the next pay-per-view event is a day to be. I did not do... I did watch it, but I figured it was going to be shit. Even though it was actually the best of their Saudi Arabia events, but I did not do predictions or review for Crown Jewel, nor will I. The next events, though, in the day to be are TakeOver War Games on the 23rd and then Survivor Series the next night. Both of which should be fucking awesome. I have high expectations for both. But that is going to do it for my predictions to AEW Full Gear. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they are all in the description down below. Thank you to all 26 of my patrons currently listed in the description for your constant support of me and my channel. I appreciate you guys as always. 28, excuse me. I forgot how many patrons I have. My 28 patrons. Thank you guys so much. With all that being said, though, my name is Noah Taff. This has been my review of AEW Full Gear. See you guys next time. Bye.